Hi guys, welcome back to Radio Taiwan International. This is Geek Out and I'm your host, Michelle Chang. Well, we actually have a really special episode for you guys today because I have two really good friends visiting from the US. We have Nicole, she, her, and Arrow, they, them. Say hey guys.
Hey.
Yes.
Hi.
Okay, so you guys, you're from where in the US?
Minnesota.
Minnesota, Minneapolis.
You betcha.
And it's actually it's actually really cool how we met because I just 2 days ago met Nicole and Arrow in person for the first time, even though we'd spoken almost every day, every other day for 3 years. So explain, who wants to explain RPA? Nicole, go. You know.
Well, maybe I'll start with, because basically, obviously, 2020 pandemic happens. So we're stuck inside. We start using the internet more. We start using Discord specifically more.
Discord, yeah.
And through the bondings of internet, role-playing love, and Dungeons and Dragons, we met on an online Discord D&D roleplay server.
Right. So Discord, how do we explain Discord for listeners who don't actually use the app?
It's like a messaging app, and there's different group chats you can make.
Yeah.
So there's different.
So I guess so. Yeah, everyone can have their own server, and then within their server, they can have little topics. I think, where people can talk, kind of like a forum.
Yeah.
Remember those from back in the day?
It's super customizable.
Very. So RPA, which stands for Role Players Anonymous, was started by our friend and dungeon master Mike. How did Mike find you guys?
I found out about it. He didn't find me. In fact, I was talking to my friend, who I also met through D&D, who lives in Sweden, Belle, and she mentioned that she was playing online D&D. And, you know, being stuck inside, I couldn't see my friends to play in person. And I was like, how does this work? Please let me in.
Right.
And so she's like, I'm going to give you Mike's information. He's going to reach out. And if you're a good fit, you're invited.
Right.
And so then me and Mike start talking, and he's like, I think this would be a great fit for you. I joined, got to meet everyone, including you, Michelle. You know, I technically had known you as Phoenix Dice.
Oh, right. That's true. So Undead Dice. How do you like to title yourself?
Yeah, Nicole / Undead Dice. Like, that is me. It's weird to say, oh, I'm the creator of Undead Dice, because it's not like, it's just another name for me. It's it's you know, it's an account of handmade dice making, which will be its own thing.
And how can people find you?
Well, on Instagram at undead_dice.
Nice.
I have not posted in a bit, but you know what? There's some crazy, creepy, and cursed creations that you can definitely scroll back and see.
The alliteration.
Yes. So, Nicole and I knew each other before RPA through your dice maker, hand maker, and I am I guess, more mass-produced dice, so cheap dice. But anyway, so that's how we met. And then Belle, over where is she?
Sweden.
Was it Sweden? So, Fen / Arrow, how did they find you, or you found them?
Well, Nicole is actually my roommate, and we've been living together for a couple years into the pandemic for sure. I had a lot more free time, as pretty much everyone did, but I was still in school, so constantly using my laptop. Discord was right there, and I am also a big Dungeons and Dragons or role-playing nerd.
Oh, dude.
So
we've got some great nerd energy in here today.
Oh, yeah. It's great.
Momo actually found me.
Oh.
Yeah, what was I even doing? I was on Instagram. You know, you guys know those templates that people use for, like, oh, get to know me or favorite, whatever. There was one that was rolling around for D&D characters, and there were like 30 days worth of questions, I don't know, that you could answer, right? And I was doing one for Slim.
Lovely.
Yes.
Incredible.
So Nicole and Arrow know Slim because he's one of the cat boys, one of my characters in RPA, but he actually showed up in RPA later when Mike decided he wanted to bring him in. Slim was created before Rocco or Rolling Coconut.
How
because
interesting.
I actually play Slim in person in another campaign.
Oh my god,
we are learning the lore.
I know, right? The lore. So Slim was made first, and then I was doing that weird template thing on Instagram and describing all of Slim's trauma, because that's what D&D is about, right? rainbow gift drama. So Momo's like, you wrote Slim really well. I love these templates. Why don't you come talk to Mike?
Ooh.
Maniacal laughter.
And the rest is history.
Right? So that's what happened.
I think I told, because at first, it was so nerdy and private. And also I didn't know, like, obviously, how online D&D worked as a format.
Oh, yeah.
And specifically, this is play by post. So instead of meeting virtually at a certain time, like synchronously, and having video calls, we play by post. So each person posts something as their character in response to a scene that is being created. So we're kind of co-authors in a book.
Yeah. And I love how you're saving that into...
my notes.
Yeah, it's like a... at this point, it's like a novel.
It honestly...
Right?
Because
it's a 3-year campaign, so
absolutely.
goodness.
There's a lot there. And because I didn't join right at the beginning, I don't have all of it.
I can get the beginning stuff.
Oh,
we're adding to your notes then. Okay. So yeah, Arrow's notes are real at this point. There's a lot. It's a novel, and because it's play by post, you get paragraphs of people just. I think everyone's a great writer.
Yeah.
Everybody in the group is very descriptive, and they're so emotive. They know how to emote with these characters,
and we each have our own writing style too. So
I think
it varies.
Yes, it varies. And if and when this campaign completes, that is going to be one hell of a book I'd like to read again.
Oh, it's huge. It's large.
we just started arc 3.
Yes. How many are there supposed to be? 4?
4 or 5, I think.
For sure 4.
For sure 4.
I think it's
5.
I
joined my first time introducing my character acetaminophen.
Oh my goodness. First of all, okay, acetaminophen, and then
Helvetica, that's right.
I love them. So my first time introducing acetaminophen was at the Act 1 finale at Grimsgate.
I remember this.
Yeah,
and then
that was our first like fight in character, besides the like intro, like, are you a good fit mission that I had.
Right. Yeah. Mike would run you through like an intro adventure.
Levels 1 through 3.
Right.
But now we're all a little bit higher, so sometimes
What are we now? Everybody's at
10.
I'm at
11.
Oh,
it's a mixture of 10 and 11.
Yeah, it's right. 9, 11.
Yeah. Oh, so in addition to it being play by post, which is interesting and very unique to RPA, we also have a West Marches style. Okay, I don't know what that is.
It's very much, think of like exploration games where it's like you have a home base. So we have our city, and you take missions off the board, and you go in a variety of parties ranging from 2 to 8 to 9 people. It's no set party. We have a big pool of players, and whoever is available at the time we're interested.
Is there right now?
13, I think.
Oh, wow. The newbies. Yeah, the newbies came in, and now we're at 13 players. So people who are listening, okay, if you're still listening to Geek Out at this point, that means you probably are a nerd who've at least watched Dungeons & Dragons being played. So usually the normal Dungeons & Dragons party is somewhere between 2 and 6 players. It's pretty normal, right?
Yeah.
Not including the DM. So, and running a party of 6 is really gangly. Usually most people like to hit 4. 4 is like the perfect number. 13 players is a lot. I don't even know how...
I commend Mike every day.
Right? Mike is amazing. How does he like manage to juggle 13 people?
And the story that he's created is so rich, and it involves everyone's backstories. It's wonderful.
It's really wonderful.
And he's bringing things in, even in arc 3, like he'll mention a name, and I'm like, I remember hearing about this 3 years ago. And that's the handy thing about Discord, is something will tickle my brain, and you can just search it. And then you're like, this.
I use it all the time. The Discord search feature. Beautiful.
And what I like about the Discord format for D&D, because obviously it's not for everything, for everyone, because, you do have to, like, it's nice to check it every day. Sometimes things will move at a really fast pace and you're busy, in work or school, versus sometimes it's really slow when you're on break, It's not like a set pace, and not everyone's online at the same time or posting at the same frequency. But there are, while you're not meeting in person, you're able to have like private channels, which is fun. So you can have private conversations
with each other. Yeah.
Which is really nice.
That was great. That is great.
It's kind of a recent addition too.
Yeah. Well, especially since Mike's been encouraging us to connect more.
Oh yeah.
In character. like I guess my most recent one-on-one conversation was Helvetica and Slim decorating his room.
Yeah.
I know, I remember that.
That's
was
so
so
sweet.
cute.
Yeah, because I'm like, the cat boys are so integral.
Oh, yeah.
And Helvetica really views them as like, while they're younger members of the
I think they just
party,
turned 16, yeah.
they're still like,
They're baby boys.
They're like the kid
little
bros.
brothers.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
little brothers. And so she wanted to be like, it's one thing to view them as a brother, you know, but to actually go and start conversing with them like in a respectful manner and making that bond and stuff. But it's nice. So like that's in a channel where everyone can read, or you can have completely private channels that's between you, and often the DM is really common.
Oh, yeah.
And I love those private channels, especially with some abilities or scenes. If someone's making a perception check, sometimes Mike puts it where everyone can read the results, or sometimes if it's really special, lore related based on your high roll,
Then it's a secret.
and it's a secret, or it's really handy. Like, for example, Helvetica's key feature is detect thoughts. She loves to read minds,
yes.
which is
It's illegal.
it's an invasion. It is
It's
an invasion of privacy. But because of that, he can just send me those messages completely and only to
I
me.
love that so much. For the very short period of time that Rocco heard thoughts coming from a cursive maul, a weapon, Francine, it was creepy. Mike would just randomly send me messages in a creepy girl voice.
He loves to play a little guy in a little head.
Right.
I had one at the beginning of my character. I play a fallen ASMR.
Yeah.
And she had like a corruption that would speak to her.
Oh,
I will not tell you if I had a little voice in my little head.
I know you wouldn't.
I remember once she was worried about you because Rocco became quiet after a fight, and he was staring at Francine. So I read Francine's thoughts. I asked Mike if I could do this, and I got like this cursed like smash brains and I was like, we have to do something about this, but already by the next session, bad things had already happened.
Oh yeah,
it was too late.
Bad things happen frequently.
Yeah, well, I mean, that is the nature of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you present challenges to your characters,
It's great.
and that's the point. You're supposed to overcome, challenges. And what is an adventure without being a little scared?
Yeah. We have a stress emoji in Discord for
I like
this.
the eyeballs one.
Oh, the
Side eye,
squint,
the side eyes. Suspicion.
That we just do at
Bombastic side eye.
the DM all the time.
Yeah.
It's because that's also what's fun is we have our in-character channels that are obviously only in character, and then we have a lot of out-of-character stuff that we can be reacting to. That's when we're asking if can we roll this? Can I do this?
And then we have our
Planning
dice trays so that no one's rolling in person. They're all rolling in the Discord.
Yeah.
So there's a bot that we have in a Discord
Yes.
called
The bots are
Avray.
amazing. Avra.
I say Avray.
Avray is how we say it at home.
Discord D&D is really different.
Super different.
I'm going to say play by post. Discord play by post D&D is very different.
Even more. Yeah.
Because we've all played in person here. There are qualities that I can't do in person that I can write in a post. You guys never met the horniest bard in the world?
Bo.
Bo. Yeah, Beau. There was just stuff he could say that I could never say. I can't do it straight-faced. Making jokes, witty remarks that, seem to come up right off the cuff. I can't think that fast in person.
That's the beauty of Play by Post. I am not that clever so fast.
Yeah, right?
As I am.
But give me some time, I can come back with a comeback.
Oh, yeah.
So
It's great.
in person, and also, because the Tabaxi boys, they don't speak common fluently. It's their third language or something. So to type in an accent is much easier than trying to do an accent, because I'm bad at those.
True.
Really awful. So besides that, what differences have you found between playing in person and playing on Discord?
Well, we mentioned the bot. So Avray, we can still do combat fully on Discord. Obviously, like sometimes we use Theater of the Mind, but most often Mike makes a map on Roll20 that we can all see.
Yes, amazing.
That we can still control the characters, but even that is not where we control the dice rolling, right? Arrow mentioned a dice tray, and through our dice trays, we can use Avray to literally put strings of code that will do everything from automatically roll hits, attacks with your custom weapons, and add modifiers to casting spells.
Because Avre connects to D&D Beyond. It is, if you haven't used it yet, D&D Beyond, it is where you can create characters, and I believe there is a DM side that I don't use, where you can create campaign details as well. So
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. I think Mike is using that side quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So
for monster stat blocks and stuff. But yeah, so D&D keeps track of all our character stats and our magic items. It'll let you know if things are tuned versus how much money you have.
It's amazing. And then Avra, via strings of code, will tell you whether or not you can or cannot do something. Okay, ready? Most favorite moments from RPA.
Oh, that's a tall order.
It's really hard.
I know, right? I'll go first.
Yes, go first.
Okay, because I was very new to... guys, I'm really bad at computers. It took me forever to figure out how to use this setup right here in the studio. And when I was first learning how to use code, I was really proud of myself, okay? Learning how to input code was really challenging for me. We were on this adventure, and we were fighting a chimera. There were two of them, actually.
I remember this.
Yes. I had this ridiculous plan. Okay, Rolling Coconut is not high in the IQ stat block. I dumped his int, as you do for a barbarian. For those of you who know, you know.
It's often the dump stat, unless you're playing a wizard.
So he figures, you'll climb a tree, and if a chimera comes down to the ground, then he'll jump on it. It so happened that Mike had the chimera land, and then I told Mike I wanted to jump out of the tree with full falling force, and also maul bludgeoning damage. And can I roll for this? He had me roll, I think it was athletics.
Sounds right.
Sure.
Which I crit.
I remember this. Yep.
And then I also crit for damage.
Oh my gosh.
So it was basically like 2 crits in a row. Crit means you roll a 20 on the d20, the highest roll possible.
Yeah, it's short for critical.
Yes, critical success. That got immortalized by Belle in an imaginary, really. It's really exists only in RPA, in a painting that she did, because she's like a bard.
But it was like Mike's creation that he created, so she could be a painting bard rather than a singing one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have favorite moments.
Yeah,
for sure.
Tell us one.
I am... Acetaminophen is my character. She is in a relationship with Larklight, who is played by my dear friend, Sophia.
Sophia, shout out.
Who's also from Minnesota with us. Well, yeah, back in Minnesota. And so we joined RPA together at the same time, and we've kind of just watched that unfold, and it's very sweet. And
it's
now
so
they're
romantic.
Engaged, and it's so sweet. And I love to have those little moments.
Yeah.
So those are some of the highlights.
They're super cute.
They're super adorable. This wedding is coming up. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I think my favorite, rather than moments, I would say my favorite fight. It always comes back to the ambush. Because we had just finished a really long mission, right? We had gone through the swamp. We had fought a goblin king. Rolling Coconut had unfortunately become possessed in his mind and killed one of our other players.
Oh, yeah.
That player was dead. We were recovering from this mission. And normally when a mission ends, Mike doesn't deal with the whole fanfare of us like having to go back. Like we just... Days later, we show back up at home base. But instead, he was painting out the scene, us on this beach. And we're on this beach, and all of a sudden he mentions, I think someone had like a high passive perception or something, because he noticed that there was like people. So I sent my familiar to go invisibly, Grot, which is short for Grotesque, who's a little blood imp. He's invisible, so he could sneak around, right? And I had him go to like check out what is behind this hill, and he instantly dies. And then we see these people emerge, right? We have this great person in this armored suit, and there are people with weapons. There are 4 figures standing there, and they introduce themselves as the Disavowed, and they have been contracted to kill us. Now, Helvetica being traditionally, we don't really have set like roles, but I like out of character.
You're the face.
We call her the face, right? She's a sorcerer. She has 20 charisma. She loves talking her way out of things. So she, approaches. She's like, "Oh, contracted by who? For how much? Maybe we can pay you more. We can be allies. All this stuff."
Yeah.
Little did we know that out of character that this had been set into motion ages before. All these disavowed mercenaries all had information on our strengths the perfect way to take us down. Oh my goodness. So they knew that this was going to happen, and they knew that while I was trying to subtle spell Charm Monster to get some of them on our side, this leader, whose name is Black the Lesser in the armored suit, he signaled in such a way that there was a rogue hidden on the other side of the beach encampment, and we start off combat by, rather than her casting Charm Monster as she wished, for this rogue to shoot an arrow in her lung.
Yes.
And I took a ton of sneak attack damage.
It was terrible.
And all of a sudden the combat was off, and what turned into this like a bunch of all these mercenaries, turns out there were more hiding. They all have their distinct personalities. We're trying to talk our way out of it. It's really bad.
It's bad.
Like the high level spells are casting. At this point, I think our average player level was around 6, 7, 8.
I think it was 6,
that sounds
7,
right.
yeah.
And these mercenaries, just based on the spells they were casting, at least level 14. So we
stood no chance.
It was
awful,
brutal, but it was, to this day, like, again, Arrow saved all of this, and you can read it, and there's just this rich storytelling of just like trying to figure out what's going on and working together / our weaknesses being used against us, because it's the DM using what he knows.
It's all the DM. It's always the DM.
Yeah, and sometimes combat flavor like falls a little bit to the side. So that combat in particular, the flavor was immense. There was so much story there in addition to just like throwing blows and throwing out spells.
Yeah, you don't just say, "Oh, I cast Dissonant Whispers," and it does
tell me what happens.
Damage. Exactly. You don't just, that's not just what happens.
Yeah.
They artfully will write this out, exactly how they cast, what the spell looks like, and what the damage looks like, and maybe how they're feeling while it's happening.
Yeah.
And, it's actually really beautiful. So guys, we can talk for ages, and we're actually going to continue talking about this throughout our trip.
We for sure are.
throughout Arrow and Nicole's trip in Taiwan, which is a really awesome 3 weeks. But we have to cut the show short. Well, although we'll be back next time with Arrow and Nicole talking about stuff they love, because it's Geek Out.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
All right. So we'll be right back, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Bye.